My question is, what sanctions will be applied to those who abuse the P card?
Ms. Lomanak, Lord Jesus, Ms. Alden.
So we have a multi-tier process in place, and we will be strengthening that particular tier. We have a warning. We have a 30-day suspension to cut it off, and then we have a complete removal of the process of the actual P card holder.
Okay, so has that been addressed with these issues?
We will be addressing that in our internal procurement procedures, identifying those what they call consequences.
Okay,
That's what we will be addressing. We have those in place now, though.
identifying those, but not necessarily applying some rule to their not being used. You're going to go through the tiered process.
No, we will be applying them. We will continue to do what we're doing now. We do have the processes in place.
Okay. They're talking about the superintendent's budget or spending was not showing up, it was not being audited. So it's the board decision, not just one person, but is there a review to set up to see all of the expenditures so that if it's going to be brought before us, we need to know?
Ms. Commissioner Weston, if you're speaking to the superintendent's purchases, those are reviewed and they're reviewed by me. That's a requirement. I have to sign off on when he's using his P card for travel, which is the same thing with the board. There's a chain of command. I think that's what Ms. Alden is saying. That's in place when the board travels. Eva submits that to the superintendent's office. When the superintendent does the same thing with his P card, that is signed off by me. When I got here today, the folder was waiting for me. It's a familiar folder. I am to review that and I'm to sign off on it. So those things are in place, have been in place, and any other board chair that's sitting at this table can attest to the fact we do that on almost a weekly basis, because even though we only meet twice a month, the board and chair has a meeting weekly. And a lot of times in those meetings, Superintendent Secretary Marietta will bring the file to us to go ahead and do the review. So that is being done. Why it was in there?
That's my question.
Right. But it's being done, and that's a regular practice that has been in place for years.
Now that the spending for purchases has gone from $50,000 for oversight to $250,000, how are we going to keep up with that and monitor that?
Madam Chair.
It's two different matters.
Yeah, I'm thinking we're not speaking to
the purchases that you're talking about is the new way that the state is now allowing the district to conduct business. We asked the superintendent to put that ceiling in there at $250,000. He could have done it without it, but because we asked, he put a ceiling in there. What we've asked, and I think this goes back to Commissioner Lomanak, is that we get a review of that on, is it a monthly basis? So we're going to be getting that report in January. It's not inactive just yet. That's why we're still voting on contracts. However, in January 2023, it will go to the new way. And in the new way, we will just receive a report. That report, when it comes to us, we will be allowed to review that. But the P card purchases, and I'll use our office for an example, Eva has the only P card for us. So when we travel, we don't touch that card. Eva books the travel. Eva takes care of everything. And I can even say this, I think sometimes with the travel, it may exceed the 1,500 mark. That's why the board now has gone to, I believe we're doing the invoice piece now, right? We're doing that different. So we don't have that as a violation. Because a lot of times when the board is traveling, it's expensive and it may exceed. And I know a lot of times Eva's trying to get us into these conferences that sometimes sell out if she don't book them in at about a certain time. So she goes in and puts in yours and Lomanak's and Divine and everybody. By the time she's finished, she may just be over that amount. So one of the things that we're putting in place now is, I believe y'all are doing something different now for us.
Effective January, we'll go to $2,500.
Right.
If it exceeds that, I spoke about the deviation form.
Right.
That will be in place because certain conferences only take a P card versus a purchase order.
Right.
You mentioned what, and I don't know exactly how you meant it. You said it's immaterial findings,
Yes, nothing related financially.
and so that's what is, to me, immaterial is not important. So that's why I was asking that question.
No,
Okay.
that wasn't interpreted
Your
from me
intent,
that way.
okay.
No, ma'am.
As a new board member, I knew these things before coming on, and I was concerned. And so now, as a board member, I'm saying what you would do to teachers or people at another level, there would be a sanction and it would be in place, and you're not doing the same thing when it's overall. So I don't understand that. Why it's being delayed and not doing something immediate, because you can look at that information and know who's done that.
You want me to respond? I believe we just explained respectfully that we do have those processes in place where we are enacting and enforcing the violations that we have in place. We cut off cards. Your statements are not received in a timely fashion. The card is deactivated. We do monitor those things. The pcard administrator that's in my office, that is what her charge is to do. So becoming effective next year, we will put more emphasis on that, whereas I mentioned in my presentation, a checklist will be enforced, where it's going to be prior to getting to my office. It's a multi-tier reviewing for compliance prior to it getting to the pcard administrator. So
Okay.
we are
So that's
improving our
going
process.
forth, but nothing behind.
Yes, ma'am, we can't go back to the past. We're going forward and improving our processes going forward.
And improving the processes is really important, and I'm so glad that you said that.
Yes, ma'am.
But if I have violated something, some sanction needs to be brought onto me.
Madam Chair.
That's just the way that I see it, and that was my question.
Commissioner Bishop?
I'm just a little confused where we are in this process. I think there's a motion on the floor, and I'm not sure the line of questioning is germane to what Commissioner Devine proposed as a motion.
Yes, sir. Okay. Ms.
So
Weston, are you?
we about to forget what the motion is.
Right. Right. Any additional questions, Ms. Weston? You did have the floor.
No.
Okay. Commissioner Lomanek, you had your hand up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let Mr. Myers.
I just wanted him to repeat the motion. I'm sorry.
The motion is that we appeal the decision of the State Department, which I believe that the board is privy to.
Okay. I just wanted to.
Yes. Okay.
I'm privy to it.
Thank you, Chairman Harris. My question is: the appeal, is it an all or nothing, or can you appeal certain findings, or do you have to appeal the overall finding of being put on fiscal watch?
I think again that's gonna be the board's decision, being that we are setting the motion. Commissioner Devine, do you want to express that? I think it is overall. So do you want to speak to that? It's overall.
Yeah, so my motion would be to appeal the entire fiscal watch that's placed on the district.
Thank you.
Okay. Any additional questions or comments? Okay. There is a motion set before us. Do we need to take this manual? We can take it electronically. All right. We will now call for the vote on appealing this decision. Let the record reflect the vote is unanimous and the board has approved. I'm sorry. The motion passed. The fiscal watch designation will be appealed by the Richland 1 Board of Commissioners, 5 yeas and 2 nays. Thank you so much, Mr. Devine. Let me speak to one other matter in regards to the fiscal watch designation. To my board, to my colleagues, I received a call from a reporter, asking for a response from me, and I don't remember the person's name, so please forgive me, in regards to a statement that was on a blog by a fellow board member that spoke to a letter that came out on October the 27th, and the board chair knew she needed to resign. So of course I was a little blindsided because I don't read people's blogs. I deal in facts, and I think we all need to do more of that. I told the reporter I didn't know exactly what they were talking about. He was confused. I was confused. I said, I don't know anything about a meeting on October 27th. He did reach out to the State Department, and the State Department, I really appreciate them because, again, as we said, Mr. Devine, there's no perfect organization, did submit a letter to us on December the 7th. And I'm just going to read the first sentence. And I appreciate that report. I don't remember who you were, but it says, Dr. Witherspoon, Ms. Harris, Ms. Matthew Hazel, unfortunately, the December 6th letter included the wrong date for the auditor. So I'm going to ask my colleague that went out publicly and misspoke as it relates to myself and the superintendent of having knowledge and having a meeting on October the 27th, which was not correct. Just like you put it out there, the wrong information, put the right information out there. Let's not mislead the public. Let's be fair to everybody. Let's be fair to each other. I was blindsided. Just like the call was made to the reporter, it could have been made to the chair. I had no clue. When this young man called me, he said, Ms. Harris, I'm confused. I said, I'm confused too because I don't know anything about a meeting on October the 27th. And I think someone earlier tonight spoke to that because they'd heard that. That was false information put out in the public on social media. And a lot of people are upset about it because I've spent a lot of time explaining to constituents when we should be here with the baby on the table and talking about how we're going to move them to the next level. I've had to spend countless hours clarifying misinformation that we are putting out to the public. So I wanted to be clear and documented in the minutes, wherever we need to do. There was no October 27th meeting or report given. And I have the letter. Dr. Wilson, I'd like for this letter to be placed on our website because what I've learned, it's sad that Richland One has to always defend when we're just doing right. Is it hard to believe that there are honest people at this table? Is it hard to believe that we want to do right by all children? Well, I'm sorry, you're not going to get anything other than folk that genuinely care about the children. And we are here doing our job with passion and heart because those babies that came before us tonight, they matter. They deserve the best sitting here advocating for them. These children have opportunities they never had. But let's do each other fair as a board and put right information out. Because if the intentions are right, when it was corrected, it would have been corrected. But it wasn't. To good, honest people. So I want to add that to my colleagues, and I'm asking, correct it with the same passion that it was put out there falsely. That's all I say. Okay, Commissioner Lomanet.
Thank you. What I posted on my blog, I stand by, and the initial letter that we got said that the October 27th report was provided on October 27th. Within, I think, 15 minutes of us getting the email from Dr. Witherspoon with the December 7th letter from the State Department clarifying their error, I took a screenshot of that letter and posted it on social media to ensure that it got out there literally within 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes of me getting it. And I think it was like 8 o'clock at night or something. And I got it out there as quickly as I could. That still doesn't change the fact that I felt blindsided that we learned that in August or September, the district was told that we were going to be audited, and the board wasn't told for months. And then the district and the chairwoman get the report on November 21st. We have a board meeting on November 22nd. We're not told. We're not told on the 23rd. We're not told on the 24th. We aren't informed that we're being audited at all, and then we weren't informed of the draft report. That's insane to me. No nonprofit and no board no board of a nonprofit or a business would sit by while the CEO and the chairperson didn't inform them that they were literally in the middle of being audited and that there was a draft report. So I absolutely believe we should have been notified. We are notified when the wind gets too gusty. We're notified when a bus has a fender bender in a parking lot. We're notified of all of these things, and to withhold the fact that the State Department is auditing us, I think was too much. And I think every board member should have been notified of that as quickly as possible, because we are always notified of good news. Back in the spring, we weren't told for 2 weeks about a meeting with the State Department, but within 12 hours of receiving the letter that we weren't being placed on fiscal watch, then we get it. And that's the pattern, is the negative news seems to be pushed aside, and the board should have been notified of that audit. Thank you.
Commissioner Lomanat, when the State Department first came in, and Ms. Matthew Hazel and others did that presentation, it was stated to this board, and my colleagues, you can attest to this, everybody knew that there was going to be a follow-up in the fall. That was stated to us. When they came in, as you've heard Ms. Matthew Hazel say, they were in and they were out. They would come and get documents, they would go back. Okay, that didn't come to me formally to say, oh, we're being audited. They were asking for documents at that time to review. So as information was given to me, I shared it with the board. But again, the statement that you posted was not a screenshot. The statement that you posted was a full blog, as you called it, calling out the chair and the superintendent and who needs to step down and all this other stuff. Just like you typed it, I don't want a screenshot. I want you to say, I have the letter. Here it is. It was a mistake. Nothing against the State Department. They're human. But I have constituents and community folk out here that have been calling me, asking me what information was given on the 27th that you didn't give to the rest of the board. Just that, what are you talking about? Don't know what you're talking about. I had to go back with the reporter, and that reporter reached out to the State Department that there was some information that wasn't quite correct. Again, as I stated before, let's do each other right on this board. Fair is right. Fair is fair. Right is right. Transparent is transparent, even when you're the individual that need to be transparent. Transparent swings both ways like a door. It swings to all of us here. It swings to the employees. It swings to the students, the staff, everybody involved. We are all a part of this game together. And that is all I'm asking, is that it be clarified, because honestly, I'm still getting text messages about an October 27th meeting and information. And I'm just saying it just needs to be clearly stated that nothing occurred on the 27th. Where you may have felt that there's been information being withheld, there was no information given to me. The bulk of the time, the superintendent and I have been working on this agenda, working through our strategic plan and other things that the board has been asking for. When we come into those meetings, we discuss where we are in the business of the district and what we need to do next. For instance, the work session that we have on Friday, that will probably turn into a board meeting now, because there's some new information that has come to the board that we have to address before the year ends. That's fair. I don't have any reason to hide information from this board, and if you all want to know my every move, I'll be happy to share. I went to Weber, I left there, went to Southeast today, then I went to Sanders. And I've been working for this district all day long. I've been working in the trenches for this district for the past 9 hours. 9 hours. And I've eaten one time. Collard greens and macaroni and ham. I don't have a problem with sharing what I do, because I have nothing to hide. This is not a secret mission. We don't have hidden agendas here. The agenda is the children. All of them. So I just want to share that. It's done. It's over with. I just ask that we be fair to each other. I'm going to do you the same way that I'm asking you to do me.
Chairman, if I could read this, I think you may have just misunderstood what I posted. It says, first of all, I want to make clear that I was never informed about the existence of the audit or the October 27th report. Yesterday, I learned of this report and its findings along with everyone else. The full board should have received the October 27th report as soon as the superintendent received it. I never said there was a meeting on October 27th.
Keep
ever.
reading. Keep reading.
I believe that this fact alone provides grounds for terminating the superintendent's contract. And if the chairwoman knew about this and did not inform the entire board, she should resign. I never said there was an October 27th meeting. I said there was an October 27th report that should have been provided to the full board as soon as it was received by the district, not 2 weeks later when the State Department was going to make it public. We should have been told before our November 22nd board meeting.
So to your point, I'm gonna practice what I preach. I stand corrected. It was not a meeting on October the 27th. It was a report. But guess what? There wasn't a report on October 27th. So I'm gonna correct myself in saying that. So I just want to be clear that I should not have said a meeting. A report was what was stated in the blog. Again, Mr. Lomack, forgive me, I don't read the blog.
It is an October 27th report. It's an October 27th audit report. It's still dated October 27th. The correction was when it was provided to the district. It is an October 27th report. That's the only way to refer to it. That's its title. An October 27th, 2022 audit report of the State Department. What they corrected was not when the audit report was completed. It was when they provided it to the district. But I never said when they provided it to the district because it wasn't clear in their first letter. So it is still and will forever be the October 27th audit report.
Okay.
Playing with words.
And it's a play on words. But
So let's move the meeting.
We're-
Wait a minute.
we're-
You just
we're-
told me that I lied about it and I was making stuff up.
you
It's
did.
still called that.
You
It's
did.
still called
You-
the October 27th report. It's never going to change.
But
you
Mr.
acted like
but
I was misstating that.
But
And that's
Mr.
just not
Lomack,
true.
you did misstate it. You did. You
In what
said
way?
that there was a letter or a meeting or whatever on the October 27th date. State Department came back and said, unfortunately, the December 6th letter included the wrong date for the audit report. It's my understanding that even the information that they had was drafted. The official letter, and that's when, as you heard these guys present, that information is taken up to somebody higher at the State Department. And after that information was given to them, we received what we got on December the 6th. December the 6th,
Right.
not October 27th. I write essays when I was in college, in high school, and every place else, and those were drafts. But the official report is what I submit. So what was submitted became an official letter to this board, this district, on December the 6th of 2022. At this time, guys,
Let's move to the next item.
let's
Madam
move to the next item because this is a long night. We are halfway finished through the agenda. We're going to continue to move. At this time, we're going to move to 8.4, which is the election of the 2023 board officers. As chair, I will now consider the slate of officers and the board to be vacated. And at this time, we will open the floor for nominations, and we will start with the nominations for board chair for 2023.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Bishop.
I'd like to nominate Cheryl Harris for chairwoman.
Okay, are there any other nominations on the floor? At this time, I will recuse myself because I am a candidate. Is there any other candidates at this time? Going once, going twice. I will recuse my place and allow Vice Chairwoman Clyburn to carry out the vote.
So, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Man. Oh, is it?
No.
You
I don't think
second.
they second on slate of officers.
So all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. So, four yeas and 2 nays. It passes that Chairwoman Harris is elected chair.
At this time, we will open the floor for candidates for vice chair.
Madam Chair, I
Commissioner
move
McMahon.
that, list Aaron Bishop as vice chair.
Okay. Floor is open for nominations for vice chair. Floor is open for vice chair nominations. Okay, seeing none. Okay. We will now call for the vote. All those in favor of Aaron Bishop as vice chair, say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, say nay. Ayes have it. The vote is unanimous. We'll now move to secretary.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Devine.
I select Angela Clyburn as Secretary Treasurer.
The floor is open for Secretary Treasurer. Nominations for Secretary Treasurer. Commissioner Weston.
I'd like to nominate Robert Lomanek.
Okay. Nomination for Mr. Lomanek has been made. Any other nominations?
I move that we close nominations at this time.
Second.
Nominations have been closed. Motion was made by Bishop, second by Commissioner Devine. We'll now take the vote. All those in favor of Angela Clyburn as Secretary say aye. Those that, those that vote for Mr. Lomanek say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Let's do a hand vote. Let's do a roll call so we can clarify the vote. All those in favor of Angela Bishop for Secretary.
Angela Bishop.
I'm so sorry. I'm thinking about Angela. I'm sorry. There is an Angela Bishop, okay? And I just talked to her. Okay, all those in favor of Angela Clyburn as Secretary, let me see your hand. Commissioner Bishop, Commissioner Myers, Commissioner Harris, Commissioner Devine. Those in favor of Mr. Lomanek as Secretary, let me see your hands. Ms. Weston. Okay, congratulations, Ms. Clyburn. You're Secretary for the year of 2023. At the appointed time, the next board meeting, we will appoint our parliamentarian for the 2023 year. Well, now, congratulations to all of you. We'll now move on to 8.5, which is the revision of the 2022-23 board meeting schedule. This revision comes after a review for 2023. There is a meeting that we overlooked, and it was not on our printed calendar, so we just need to vote to put it on the calendar. It's set, but it is not on the calendar. We just need to vote to add that January 10th meeting 2023. Is there a motion on the floor?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the revised board meeting schedule as presented July 2022 through June 2023.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly motion and second. We are now open the floor for any discussion. Seeing none, hearing none, we will call for the vote. Do we need to do that electronically? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let the record reflect the vote is unanimous for the revised 2022-23 board meeting schedule, adding our January 10th meeting. We'll now move to our board report. This is where the board has an opportunity to speak on activities that they've been involved in our district. We do our chat for the chairs, which has been amazing now that we're back in person. Our lunch buddies and spending time doing walkthroughs through our school. At this time, we'll open the floor for any board member that has any additional reports that they would like to share. Commissioner Lomanak.
Thank you, Chairman Harris. I spent several hours today at Brennan looking at about 150 science fair exhibits. They were unbelievable. I didn't understand some of them, but that was my failing, not the students. I really was impressed with, there must have been 300 science fair exhibits in that cafeteria. So I really appreciate the invitation and enjoyed seeing the students and teachers. I did want to ask a follow-up with Dr. Witherspoon about the conversation we had last board meeting regarding somehow paying elementary school teachers who end up with split classes. Has there been any progress on that?
We're still looking at how to do that, and we'll be following up.
All right, and then finally, I've had a number of people. I'm still running into payroll issues, as you know from the emails I've sent you, and also questions about holiday bonus. Is there? I understand there's not one. People have asked me if we could explain why, and I didn't have a reason, and there may be a perfectly good one, but I've been asked that a lot.
Well, we've never had a holiday bonus. We have done, as I shared with you, we have done retention incentives and so forth, but that generally doesn't come until after we close the books, if you will, for the prior school year, which board voting on the CAFR tonight does that. I have had prior discussion with the chair, as she's indicated through the meetings that we have, that we would be looking at that and bringing forth some type of recommendation forthcoming.
Thank you, Chairman Harris. Thank you, Dr. Witherspoon.
Any additional reports from anyone? Commissioner Bishop?
Madam Chair, on December 6th, a giant, a genius, and a gift to our community and this school district. And we often call him Chairman Emeritus. Vince Ford went from labor to reward. For those who had an opportunity to serve with him in this district, we do understand that his presence remains. His leadership will always be the tip of the spear for anyone who looks to answer the question, how are the children? We've had several people who have come through this district as not only products but servant leaders to this community and Richland One. But there's not quite many like Vince Ford. We can bring up names like Dr. Stevenson, who this building is named after SAB. We even look to my left, the Reverend McKinley Bowman, which this boardroom is named after. But Vince Ford wasn't a person who looked for the hardware or the brick and mortar. He looked at the building of humans, the development of children to be our bright and brilliant and bold future. I'm using my words carefully because I know we can probably all say something great about Mr. Vince Ford. And we can probably even quote a lesson or two from him. One of the greatest lessons I leave with anyone, besides this quote, how are the children, is one thing that we all should believe. He said, you have the right to your opinion, but you don't have the right to get the facts wrong. When we look at what we do here, many people can bring opinions about this district, but the fact is we're here to serve. And serving with Vince Ford for 12 years was an extreme pleasure. It was an exceptional opportunity for me to develop as a leader who wanted to be selfless. I want to be brief and comment, but what I do believe is that what we are told as the legacy of his leadership is a story that is still being told. So I told everyone on my Facebook page, which he often joked me about, it wasn't a goodbye to me on yesterday. It was I'll see you later. And what that means is I want to see every child in this district get a fair and equitable opportunity, because that would be Vince Ford. Every time we go to schools and we see children smile, that is Vince Ford. Every time we see a child having the ability to see the board so he can get his lesson, that is Vince Ford. Every time we see a child getting a meal away from home, that is Vince Ford. Every time we see our staffs and our students being protected so they can be part of a learning enterprise, that's Vince Ford. So I want to open up the floor to anyone who wants to share a lesson or two. But in this moment, I hope that we will pause at the